The Assassin's Creed Shadows artbook has leaked in its entirety, nearly 300 pages, giving us context about the world, characters, and some narrative details about the world of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And today we're gonna have a little look through it, and we're gonna talk about some of the key points that we've observed. Ubisoft is a bucket with a lot of holes. We knew that already. Today, that bucket has once again created a new hole because we've got more leaks. More leaks in this bucket. Does that make sense? Do you leak out of a bucket or do you leak? Yeah. Anyway, there's been more leaks.
This isn't really a podcast episode. This is going to be more of a video today, and you've probably noticed that by the length of this episode. It's not going to be numbered. It's just going to be here talking about it because, we are doing a evergreen podcast episodes this week, and we thought it wouldn't really make sense to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows leaks and stuff, in that episode. So we were like, you know what? We'll do it as a separate video. We'll still get our thoughts out there together. We'll chuck it up as a video, and then we'll go on to our actual episode later. So that's the premise. And back to you.
A little bonus one this week.
Yeah, a little bonus.
Yeah, a little bonus. This,
yeah.
When we get monetized, I'm telling you, these will all be Patreon exclusives. So you better enjoy them now while you got them.
Yeah.
So we've got quite a bit to go through. 243 pages is a lot. We're not gonna break down every one. I am going to put up a couple of the more interesting ones, the things that stood out to me. I'm right in saying you've not seen a good majority of these. Ubisoft have already took this down.
What I can do, this is what I did in one of my older videos. I can chuck it into an AI, and I can make something that resembles it, so you kind of get an idea of what we're seeing, but you obviously won't be the original. As a bystander who's just learnt about this leak and is very interested to hear what you think, I've got to say, the thing that appeals to me the most is definitely the Naue conceptual outfit, what she was originally, the conceptual idea of how her outfit would look. It's quite dark. It's like a proper ninja assassin, I'd say. It really gives that vibe.
It's definitely like very Xiaoyun inspired, I think. You can see the similarities there, especially with the belt. I don't know if the logo on her belt is actually anything unique. She seems to have something in the middle of the assassin logo. It looks like a tree. There's like a word.
Oh.
Like a Japanese letter appears to be in the middle.
Fair enough.
So anyway, we can't show this, so I'll just describe what the commentary was, because I can read what it says here. So this was an early concept of Naue's iconic shinobi assassin outfit. It's very cool, but didn't end up in the game. However, this iteration did inspire the Red Sunset marketing image that was created for the Codename Red announcement trailer. So now we know what she was wearing in that trailer.
And we know it was her, because I didn't know if that was always her. I thought, it just looked like a generic character.
Yeah, it was very genderless, wasn't it? I couldn't tell if it was a male or female.
I'm guessing that was probably the idea, though, to keep it ambiguous, before we learnt more. But it's interesting to see that, exactly how it looked in the CG trailer as well. The reveal.
And it's a really cool outfit. Do you remember an image of Naue leaked ages ago, which was just like her head? It's on one of these images as well.
It's like we're seeing a zoomed out version of that image, aren't we?
Yeah, at last. It's interesting. We're getting to see like all these little leaked images like be confirmed. There's a lot of outfits in this section. I noticed like every single NPC and a lot of the enemies, they have like different outfits for their class for different areas.
Yeah.
So the different regions have their own like archer variant, and they're all like different outfits, and they have the heavies all have different outfits themed on where they are. Which is really good to see.
It's interesting because obviously, this being concept art, it makes you think that. Well, it makes you wonder if that is going to be definitely, reflective in the actual game. It will be interesting to see if each region does have almost different cultural, weapons, armors, robes, that sort of thing.
I think it will. A lot of what they mention in the concept art and stuff, especially for like the different areas, we got to see some different terrain a lot of jungles, a lot of like I think they made reference to Mount Fuji. So we might not be able to go actually up it, but I think we will be in the area of it because there seems to be a lot of like snowy areas, and they spoke about like the horizontal aspect of it, like it's going to be more like little villages at the bottom of the mountain and then the bigger buildings at the top, and we got to see that with a couple of like what would you say, like eagle view, like looking down on some of the buildings.
Like a bird's eye view, yeah.
A bird's eye view, exactly, yeah. And they show that some of the areas are going to be more dense. But at the end of the day, what stood out to me is that they are like going for historical accuracy here. They're not going for like what would make an entertaining city to play in. It's more like, how did this actually look? Which is, it's a bit of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah, I mean, again though, going back to like the fact that it is, you know, it is concept art. That's coming from artists, you know, like visual artists. It's not coming from people that will then create that city for a video game. So I can imagine that, you know, that's why you see a lot of concept art. You can definitely see how it's inspired the game. Then when you see the final product, it's very much like, you know, they've taken their art direction and they've put a video game spin on it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm sure things will differ, you know, in one way or another. One thing I want to point out, you did mention, this is leaks aside, but it ties in. You did mention Mount Fiji, right? Or Fuji?
Yes.
So I made a video when the code name was just, well, we knew codename Red, right? In Assassin's Creed 1, you know when the Desmond sees everything on the wall at the end of the game, what Subject 16 left for him? There's one which mentions that mountain, and I speculated very much, you know, in that video, like, is there going to be some sort of Isu link there, like an Isu temple underneath the mountain or something? You know, that would be interesting. So we'll see what happens, but I'd have to go back over it to know everything we saw in AC1, you know, regarding Japan. But
I think I know which one you're talking about, and I mean, we know how these games go. We know that the last act of the game will probably feature some sort of Piece of Eden or Isu technology. And that seems like one of those major locations that would, like, obviously have a Piece of Eden in it. So, I don't know, maybe they'll do it as like a one-off linear map. Like, you only go there once, like Rome at the end of AC2.
Yes, potentially, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll have to see. One thing I think it would be quite interesting to point out is we did get an image of something called Assassin's Creed League. It's got the Assassin's Creed logo with League underneath. Now, I asked you, what do you think this could be? And you said to me, well, tell him what you think. Tell him what you said.
Well, I'm pretty convinced that this is going to be the co-op mode. Because all of the assassins, well, I say assassins, I wish they were. The shinobi in this poster are all characters that are in the main game. Or at least they look like some early version of those characters. So my sort of theory is that as you play through the main game, you're going to recruit these characters, which will unlock them in co-op. Either that, or they've took the resources and later down the line, they're going to create some sort of co-op mode. Because I don't know about you, I don't think this is coming out at launch.
Yeah, I can definitely see it being a post-launch thing, especially, you know, they don't want to release it with server issues and stuff. They're probably going to want to take a bit of time to perfect it once the game is actually out.
Yeah. But I think that is the form that co-op is going to take. It would make more sense to me anyway, as opposed to making Naoe and Yasuke both playable through the same mission. I imagine the missions have been designed for one or the other.
Yeah,
and it would like mess it up to have both.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there was some footage in one of the original dev diaries. It was probably just to show the combat between characters, but there was some footage where Yasuke and Naoe were fighting each other, and that at the time made me think, oh, could this be co-op? But you do make a good point. You make a good point with these characters, and also I do wonder if that was just little playtest build. Chuck the two characters in. You could put any character in, you know. They were just because
yeah.
it was about combat. It was about the combat of each character, so it was probably just that. But yeah,
as well, like we know that each shinobi is going to have their own abilities and their own class, which lends itself quite well to like a PvP multiplayer sort of thing, or even like a PvE, like
yeah.
select your class and then go into this like co-op mode. It might be like a horde mode sort of thing.
I mean, whatever it is, if they find a way to add the classic PvP multiplayer of Assassin's Creed, like team deathmatch, one-on-one, I would
as well. I liked Wolfpack.
Oh yeah, classic stuff like that. That would be. Oh, I can't put into words, but we'll see what it is. But I'm just.
I
thinking,
just had a thought as well.
Yeah, go on.
Just to wrap up on that point.
Yeah.
Did you ever play any of Valhalla's roguelike mode?
Was that?
Because I sort of accidentally stumbled across it and I didn't realize what it was, but it was like I can't remember what it was actually called now.
Am I right in thinking that was the River Raids?
No, there was one in Asgard. It's in Asgard.
Oh no, I've never.
No?
No.
Oh man. So I got like recommended the Ark during my playthrough and I was like, oh, what's this? And then I went on it and it's like a whole separate mode where you start off with nothing in Asgard and as you fight like waves of frost giants, you get gear and stuff. And then if you die, obviously you start back with nothing. But I can't remember what it's actually called now.
I had no idea that was even in the game. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a free. What? It must have been a free update later down the line.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a natural part of the game.
Crazy.
So I wonder if maybe they're going to do the same thing, but for Shadows, because it does already exist. Like they have already done this. But this time you pick a class.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, there's a lot they could do with it. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they add new modes. After the fact, like down the line.
So I think we knew this already, but it's pretty much confirmed in here that Nobunaga is like he's not going to make it. He's going to die pretty early on. So I guess spoiler alert. Also, we've learned that during the prologue of the game, the attack on Naoya's village occurs during her initiation ceremony into the shinobi, which is a cool little detail. I wondered if maybe like she was going to receive her hidden blade at the end of the ceremony and they've like had to fast track it due to the attack. That would be quite cool. We know that as well, Yasuke and Naoya will team up. Obviously, well, we knew that part, but in the bit of writing that they've put next to Naoya's village being destroyed, they've said that the ninja and samurai unite behind the timeless creed of the assassins to protect their homeland from the ruthless Western colonists of the Templar Order and their corrupt agents in Japan. Now, this gives me the impression that the Templars might be foreign, because we have seen a character in this concept art called Nuno Caro. It's probably a terrible butchering of his name, who is a Portuguese Templar that has spent the last 20 years immersing himself in Japanese culture in a nefarious attempt to establish Western power in the Far East. Which is very interesting. That could give us some details on what the plot of the game is actually going to be.
I mean, on that point, I have heard online that most of the Templars will be Portuguese, so that would lead into that.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, there's also been a leak. This is not related to the book, or it might be, because it has came out at the same time, that this Nuno Caro may have killed Yasuke's wife on a slave ship.
Oh, what a
and that
prick.
Yasuke, yeah,
Fuck that
and
guy.
that Yasuke wants revenge on him.
Yeah, don't blame him.
I do get the feeling now that I've heard this, like they put Nobunaga at the forefront of the story trailer to kind of deceive us a bit, because they did show this guy. He's the guy pointing the gun in the trailer, who looked a lot like Crawford Starrick, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like the secret main villain of the game.
Yeah.
Who has this personal connection.
I think you're right.
But Yeah, a lot of interesting things coming from this art book, and I mean, there's so many pages in this book that we're still discovering little tidbits here and there because there's a lot of writing to sift through. And of course, if anybody has access, wink wink, to this art book, please let us know down below if there's any. Well, put a spoiler tag if you are going to put anything.
And of course, we cannot condone the spread of leaks, but if you can tell us about it, you can, resemble things, just so we got an idea, without leaking that stuff. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I don't condone it at all, but people are going to do what they're going to do, aren't they? You can't stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do happen to have a little look at these leaks, then please let us know what your thoughts are on them. And
yeah, if someone
I can't really endorse it any more than that, can I? I can't say leave us your thoughts.
If somebody pinned you down on the floor, made you kick, use their fingers to force your eyes open and said, look at the leaks right now. Yeah, that's not your fault, is it? You saw them, but you can't get sued for that, can you? Well, you could probably sue the guy who did it to you.
Exactly.
So
it's not your fault for looking at it. It's the person's fault for leaking it.
Yeah. So if somebody showed it to you against your will and you did somehow see the leaks, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Exactly. And that'd be fun. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. Wills?
Does Wills have anything else to comment? Just as a final note, the outfits in this game look really good, and I'm really angry that a lot of them are not going to appear.
Oh, don't get angry, mate.
Oh.
Don't get angry. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. You might get the outfits as a legacy thing later on down the line, or Maybe. Think of
Arno's Fearless, yeah.
Yeah. So you never know. You never know.
They took away now his assassin robes. How dare they?
Ooh, yeah. Too assassiny for their liking, I think.
Too assassiny. It's not the direction they want to go in.
No, you look too much like an assassin, not enough like a shinobi warrior. So.
True.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's everything from me.
Let's wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, press the like button. Press subscribe if you're new to this channel. We do podcasts, usually like 2 hour plus, but, we had to talk about this. We're now going to go and record our Mirage 1 year later retrospective podcast episode, so look out for that one. Subscribe for that one. Yes. Wills? Lewis?
Watch the video.
Yes.
Watch the podcast. Yes. Subscribe to the Podyssey.
Yes. We love you. We love you all.
We do.
Goodbye.